this program hopefully will not put you to sleep. But sleep also is recognized as a fundamental right by the Supreme Court of India, and therefore we will not take any offense if you all want to sleep. Just one condition, do not close your eyes. Like Napoleon, keep your eyes open, stay awake, and still sleep. Sleep, shower, and food are three things I never miss in my life, and I don't like any one of you to. So food at least is there. Sleep, keeping eyes open, okay, food, sleep, and shower, which I can't help on the third thing. Anyway, so, but we'll shower you with a lot of education and stuff like that this afternoon. As a, as a law firm, you know, it's always a pleasure to share our ideas, thoughts. We do a lot of work. We are almost, we are a research-based law firm. Almost 40% of our firm's time is spent on research, academics, thought leadership, and stuff like that. We create a lot of content, knowledge, and then try to put almost everything in public domain, you know. So whole DNA is, we are more like quasi-university. We are doing our own campus now in Mumbai. If any of you are familiar with Mumbai geography, how many of you have seen Gateway of India or Taj Mahal Hotel? I think a lot of them, right? So if you take a speedboat from Taj Mahal Hotel and come to our campus, it will take 15 minutes by speedboat and 5 minutes to our campus. And it's just under completion. And whenever any of you come, you have now some more friends. Most welcome. As you can see, the whole environment has undergone change in the last 1 year. And so much has been happening. It's very fascinating to see how things have undergone change. And if I may just tell you a little bit about, you know, the, how the M&A scenario has worked out. When you look at M&A, you know, it's, people think when you get matured and when you acquire, you get acquired. That's the only time you need to know about M&A. But actually, when you start your operation, that's the time we need to have an eye on either being acquired or getting married or, you know, getting into the company of somebody else. So look at how things change. In the last few years, India had witnessed a substantial slowdown in the mergers and acquisitions space. In the year 2011, Indian companies were involved in around 644 transactions worth $44.6 billion. That was reduced in 2012 to 598 transactions. So from 644 to 598 transactions, worth about 35.5 billion, so from 44 to 35, which was further reduced to less than 500 transactions for 30 billion in 2013. However, in 2014, you know, the heightened global M&A activity was seen to replicate India as well, and several big ticket announcements that happened in India, and the deal values began to move up. There are many reasons for decline in the deal activities, such as the weak investor confidence. I think everything went down southwards, as you all know. And policy paralysis was one of the things. Regulatory uncertainties, I think who knows better than lawyers. And of course, you have a pain point, but we know how painful it was, with especially retrospective amendment and general anti-avoidance provisions and you know, misinterpretation of laws and stuff like that really put the whole country on an edge. And with Mr. Modi's coming back into on the scene, suddenly sentiments change, and investment is ultimately a matter of psychology and sentiments. So, you know, that's what happened. And, you know, other thing that we saw was that you know, some amendments to foreign direct investment policy also happened, removing some of the bottlenecks. Still, we are not where we should be. Okay, let's not overestimate what has already been done, but the direction is good. One personal experience I have in India is that at least this government listens, okay, and acknowledges that there is an issue. That is what is the major difference we find. Somehow or the other, in the previous government, which was, we had very honest Prime Minister, but unfortunately he couldn't function the way in which we expected him to function as he did in 1991. He was the doyen of, reforms, really speaking. It was the toughest time in the history of India to bring reforms in 1991. So we should not forget that that government also did some of the very interesting things, but over a period of time, everything came and, the sectors such as IT, ITES, healthcare, pharma, banking, financial services, telecom, and retail were the key sectors, in 2014. And 2014 also saw M&A activities across sectors such as merger of some two heavyweight e-commerce like Flipkart, Myntra, which was valued at approximately $300 million, acquisition of SS bathroom products by Asian Paint for unspecified sum, and other acquisition was of 78% of Network 18 by Reliance. Ranbaxy was acquired by certain pharmaceuticals, approximately $3.2 billion worth. And both domestic as well as cross-border deals saw an increase in terms of volume and value of deals. While domestic deals increased to the tune of 20% in 2014 compared to 2013, the cross-border deals increased by about 28% compared to 2013. So cross-border activity has been, I think, pretty interesting. In terms of deal value in the year 2014, value of domestic M&A deals increased approximately 124% as compared to deal value in 2013. However, the value of cross-border M&A deals increased marginally in 2014 by about 10.5% as compared to 2013. So this is broad scenario as far as M&A is concerned, and we only can expect more and more M&A activities to happen, especially now that there is upsurge in the startups. As you know, India is very much just like, I think, replicating in some ways, if I don't want to say copycat, but at least in many ways, India is ushering into the new startup mode as well. And many of you are here today. I believe USIBC and FICCI have brought in several startup to the US to interact with players over here. So that's very good news. Now, as once again, as we see as a law firm, and the way in which we look at things from legal and tax perspective is that every new technology brings along with it a new legal or tax problem. If you look at e-commerce, Wi-Fi, WiMAX, quantum computing, fuel cells, nanotechnology, Tesla car, whether it can fly on the road in certain states it's not allowed, and stuff like that. There are lots of every thing, medical devices, whether it's a drug or a device. So there are a number of issues that come up, and that's what really we do as a law firm. What we do is to do trend assessment and forecasting, and we try to look at 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years ahead of time and visualize what are the new legal issues that are likely to come in, what are the new tax issues that will come. So by the time the actual situation arrives, we are somewhat ready, and that's how we try to help. So we have now practice groups on a number of different specialties, including bitcoins, on Internet of Things, or what you call Internet of Everything. New business models are going to emerge out of IoT. As you all know, I don't need to tell you a lot about that. But all these issues that are coming up are very interesting, and as I would put it, almost 60 to 80% of M&As are all around IP. As law firm, many a times we are obsessed with the corporate. Of course, the corporate law is very important. If you see, strategic objective in most of the major mergers and acquisitions is about acquisition of IP, including sometimes we want to have talent acquisition, but we consider talent also as a part of IP. And this is something that one needs to know. So many a times you get stuck into commas and full point while negotiating any deal, but that's what happens, that we forget that the core objective is to acquire IP. and we sometimes derail the deals, and that's something not right. Second, if you take international tax, 60 to 80% of the issues are on IP. Royalties, fees for technical services, transfer pricing of intangibles, and stuff like that. So IP plays a very important role, and that is still not fully understood in India. You know, if you ask, most people would not know whether patent is a positive right or negative right, and stuff like that. So when you are doing a deal and negotiating a deal, it's very important that the strategic objective is not lost. And that's the thing. So today what we want to do, and we have excellent panelists here to join us. But before that, let me just walk you through some of the material that is in front of you. There is one book I think all of you will see is Doing Business in India. It's simplest, and Narendra Modi's commitment is to create the ease of doing business in India. So at least this will make it slightly easier. And number two, there is also a book on mergers and acquisitions in India, as you all can see. Next one is M&A Lab. This has become most popular amongst the bankers and lawyers and other analysts. We do a lot of this kind of publications. If you see, we take up select cases. This contains 3 cases. Sun Pharma, Ranbaxy, Panacea for Ranbaxy sales, Reliance Network 18, Thomas Cook, Sterling Holidays. So what we do, we examine all the deals that happen from a strategic, legal, and tax perspective, and how they were structured, and what are the issues that came up, not only from Indian perspective also, but the international perspective. But these are India-centric deals, mostly cross-border. So that is something will be of interest to you. Of course, then there are other Indian laws on prevention of harassment and Indian medical devices industry. Some of people were asking me before this session started whether do you understand something about the medical devices, and we have a paper here. E-commerce in India, you know, this would be very important for those who are in the e-commerce space. So like that, there are a number of papers. If you visit what we call knowledge site, we don't call website so much, but if you visit a knowledge site, maybe you'll find a lot of paper, a lot of content, and anytime you have any question or any other query, feel free to send us an email. With that introduction, what I would like to do is to get into today's program and invite the panelists for the first session.